This is Tom Grisak. I'm here with Jeff Bednar of Profound Foods and Christy Ziemeyer, who is with us to the right, one of the great Lovejoy agents. And Jeff, thank you so much for meeting with us. Profound Foods is kind of everybody knows about it now. How long ago was it you started out here?
In 2014.
2014.
Yep.
He's got a great story and I want to hear it. What happened after COVID and how he kind of changed his business model. But we're going to take a walk through his place. We're going to ask him a bunch of questions. And Jeff, first of all, let me get a little bit of insight. Where did you grow up?
In Minnesota.
All
Yeah,
right.
we moved to Texas in '95. I was still in high school.
Uh-huh.
And we've been in the Plano, Allen, and Lucas area now since then. So it took us a few years to get the business going.
Uh-huh.
So we ended up, learning how to farm for about 3 years, and we went commercial and started selling with restaurants in 2017.
Okay. And how did you come up with the name Profound Foods?
It was my wife. So we really wanted to make a profound impact on the environment, make a profound impact on our community, and on the health of our family.
Okay.
And so it was profound.
I
Okay.
love it.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. And tell us, what's the, not your secret, what separates you from your competition?
There's really not a lot of competition. I mean, there's very few farms in the Dallas area. So one of the things that we've done is we've aggregated, and we actually work with 60 local farmers, ranchers, and producers. So we've got meats, dairy, artisan breads, and then all the veggies and everything from our farm as well.
Okay.
And so we just aggregate a whole bunch of local farmers. So anybody who's really wanting to support local businesses and wants like literally the best quality food you can get and the freshest food, we get a pretty good resource for that.
I thought everything came from your place, so you're working with other farmers too.
Yeah, so we have our farm, and then we have the food hub, and then we have an event center. So
Okay.
the event center is really about bringing people together for either their events, but everything happens around food and community.
Right.
So-
And that's new at the Fairview Town Center.
Yep.
By the way, Friday evening from what, 5:30?
5:30 to 7:30?
5:30 to 7:30.
Yep.
Go ahead, why don't you explain to people what
Yeah, we're
that's
doing an
gonna
open house, so there's an opportunity to come out and meet your farmers. We've got about 15 or 20 of our vendors are going to set up booths. We'll have small bites that are chef prepared, and then we'll have samples of a bunch of the different food that we have as well, and kind of showing off our event space and everything that's going on there. It's $5 per person. And one cool thing that we were just talking about is with you guys sponsoring our event, we can actually give away 30 tickets. So before this goes live, I'll make sure we're going to put 30 tickets up for free for the next 30 people that want to register and come out 5:30, 7:30 on Friday in Fairview, just across the street from Gloria's. The best places on Facebook is where we put that. Instagram, Facebook, if you go to Profound Microfarms or Profound Foods, you'll see that we've got a link to buy the tickets right on there or to register with the free tickets.
Now you grew up up north, and how did you end up down here again?
My parents got a job. So
All right.
my mom moved down here, or she moved down first, and we came down shortly after that.
Okay.
And since then, we started a few different businesses, but like I said, this one is 2014 and
Right.
kept us busy. So
What's your background? How did you know how to even start this business?
I had no idea. So before this, I was in real estate. So I was buying and selling houses. We actually had a real estate company we bought and did over 100 fix and flips over 3 years.
Wow.
And it was a lot of fun. And that was, for us, I love real estate. I love buying and selling. I love fixing things up. But when I sold my half of that company, I really wanted to find what was going to be next and be something that was really going to bring a lot to the community. And we wanted to do something that had me be around a lot more.
Okay.
As you know very
There you
well,
go.
it's real estate's evenings
Yeah.
and weekends, and it was
Right.
hard with 2 young daughters at home.
Right.
So when you get a farm, you're kind of stuck here.
And is this when you say the farm, this is your only place right here? When you say your farm, do you have any other locations other than this?
Not currently. We did have a place that was actually at Shops of Legacy. There's a
Okay.
shipping container farm over there that we were leasing.
Oh, okay.
And so we had that in full production before COVID, mostly growing microgreens and edible flowers for chefs and restaurants.
Okay.
But
Well,
we pretty much moved everything back over here, so everything's consolidated now.
okay. And how many acres do you have here?
Just 2.6.
And how many greenhouses do you have?
We have 3 greenhouses.
3 greenhouses.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I heard this.
It works out about 14,000 square feet of production.
Okay. And you keep them full all throughout the year?
Yep, all the way year-round growing. So in controlled environments, it makes it a lot easier. There's definitely things that are seasonal that we can't do in the heat of the summer,
Right.
can't do in the cold of the winter. But for the most part, we grow things that we can do year-round.
Do you get people that come out here and want to just walk through and take a tour?
Yeah, we charge for it, but we do all the time. We do
Good.
there's quite a few people. We actually had almost 5,000 people in the last 7 years come out for tours.
Are you serious? And how do they set up a tour?
So the private tours are booked with us. Otherwise, we'll schedule public tours. I put that on our email newsletter and on our Facebook and Instagram and that sort of thing.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're in our raised bed garden. So the raised beds are actually just mostly built out of these cinder blocks that were on the property when we bought it. And then we brought in a bunch of organic soil. So in this garden, we farm very much a permaculture style of farming. So we're thinking about what plants are going to do well next to other plants and not having it like all of one thing in a row, so you'll get a disease or insect problem. So we don't have to use any pesticides or insecticides, anything like that in here. So
you're out the whole place.
No, in this part.
In
here.
this right
yeah,
here.
Exactly.
Okay. And
so,
how do you, when you see infestations, how do you deal with it? How do you?
So it depends on what the crop is and variety is. So like, the borage has got some fungal problems going on here, but we have borage in multiple other places. So then we're able to continuously harvest off of that. So this is just going to be removed and put in the compost.
Okay.
As opposed to them all being next to each other.
Where
and then
everything
all
gets
of
wiped
them.
out at once. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we've got all kinds of fun stuff. That's Hoya Santo over here, which actually tastes like root beer when you eat it.
Really?
Is it really?
Yeah, it's a pretty cool one.
Wow.
And how did you know how to do this? I mean, did you just learn this all from?
I had zero farming background. Before we bought this farm,
It tastes like root beer.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that fun?
That's amazing. What's it called?
Hoya Santo.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Chefs use it for, they'll dehydrate it and put it as a powder on things, or they'll wrap cheeses in them. You can cook on them, good with fish dishes and that sort of thing.
Well, this is a good point. I wanted to ask you. You've got a great story. COVID has wiped out a lot of businesses, but it's also, I think, really enhanced some businesses because they had to change their business model. And you guys had to do that. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so before COVID, we were supplying 130 restaurants in Collin County and Dallas County. And we had never done any retail, so no farmers markets, no home deliveries or anything like that. And obviously with restaurants getting shut down, we had to make a shift in our business model as well. So we launched the retail home delivery. And we originally started with just Lucas, Fairview, Allen, and McKinney. And then we've since expanded, so we now have 33 zip codes that we deliver to.
How far do you go?
All the way down to Dallas. So Highland Park, University Park, and then White Rock over there. And then it goes up through Wiley, McKinney, all of Frisco, and then pretty much everything in that triangle going straight down.
And where's the bulk of your business come from, would you say?
Lucas, Allen area.
Lucas,
Local,
okay.
Yeah, it's all neighbors. People wanting to
All
support.
word of mouth. You do advertising?
So
Minimal?
to date in the business, we've spent $2,000 on advertising in 7 years.
Amazing.
So and usually that's buying T-shirts for people and that sort of thing.
Well, it's truly a word of mouth thing. I mean, I met you in person for the first time at a friend's house.
Yeah.
When you were delivering
Doing a late night
produce.
delivery,
And I was like, wait, you are Profound Foods? I'm like, I know,
Yeah, that's where we've got our vegetables from you guys too. So when did you realize that you had to change your business model?
Actually 2 weeks before the restaurant shutdown happened. So my buddy who's in DC that does indoor farming they were 2 weeks ahead of us, so that all of his business got shut off overnight, and his business model wasn't able to shift over to kind of doing what we could do because we had so many other products available with our food hub.
Oh, okay.
So we made the shift the same week. We announced retail the same week restaurants closed. And we had one slow week the first week, and then a week after that, we did triple the business that we'd ever done before.
That's unbelievable.
And, it created
and then
a whole lot of problems.
It stayed at that level?
It went up for probably like the first 6 months of the pandemic, and then it's kind of come down, and then the last probably 2 months our retail sales have dropped even a little bit further.
Yeah.
And everyone's now traveling, and they're going out to restaurants
exactly
and not cooking
right.
as much.
It's the time of year. So
And it's the time of year. So after school gets set up, or started back, we'll probably pick back up.
And this obviously is probably your busiest time of year. When does it slow down for you?
It never slows down.
Really?
Yeah,
because
you're
in the greenhouse all the
time?
time?
It's in the greenhouse. So we harvest 3-4 days a week, and it's kind of nonstop.
And what happened? How bad were you affected by the ice storm or the?
It was a
weather?
very expensive week for us. So luckily we have backup generators and propane heaters. And so we had the generators running the whole week. It was, uncomfortable, and we had to reset a lot of stuff and, get up all throughout the night. But we didn't end up losing any product, which was good.
That's great.
Yeah, close call, but it was good.
Could you have sustained it even longer if the? When did you lose your power? How much? like for us, we're not far from here. We got 15 minutes of electricity and then an hour off.
That's exactly what we got.
Okay.
Yeah, and unfortunately, all of the heaters do not automatically come back on when the power comes on. So I had to sleep in the living room, in the kitchen, with the lights on. Every time the lights would come on and wake me up, I'd run around and put my boots on and go reset all of the heaters.
Wow.
And go back to sleep for 45 minutes and get back up again.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Could you have sustained it longer? Could you have kept?
Yeah, as long as we had a supply of propane.
Okay.
So we got to a pretty nervous level. Got to 7% on the tank, which means we wouldn't have made it through the night if the propane company, Douglas Distributing, wouldn't have made a special trip out to take care of us.
Wow.
Yeah, that would have been detrimental. It's a little scary.
Well, let's walk through,
Keep on
see some more of
walking,
this. Go ahead, we'll follow.
Yeah,
It
these
is
are
beautiful in here.
lemon cucumbers. We've got a bunch of different kinds of mint. This is another fun one to try. Have you guys ever eaten a begonia?
No.
So they're edible. So just reach
I
out
didn't know that.
and grab a little flower here. They're super tasty. You can grab one there.
I never knew you
They're
could
tangy.
eat begonias. It's like a. It's tangy. Yeah, you're right.
It's tangy.
Almost tastes like a lemon. A
Yeah,
little bit.
a little. Yeah, they're a little citrusy.
Is that all kinds of begonias?
Yeah, all begonias are edible, and you can eat the leaves or the flowers. The flowers are a little bit more
I like
delicate.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are great.
So you put a bunch behind you there. And what else we got going? These are all sunchokes. So we've got a lot of those going. Sunchokes are a tuber, so we'll harvest those when after the first freeze. All the greens will fall over, and then we'll pull all the tubers out.
Do you put anything
Blackberries.
out here once this dies away? Is anything out here in the wintertime?
Yeah, it's constant rotation, so we're growing all winter. So.
What grows in the winter?
Oh man, all kinds of greens will grow in the winter. So we'll do the mustards. Most of the lettuces are in the greenhouse, but we'll have kale, collards.
Okay.
A
those
lot of
are
different
winter.
herbs will do fine throughout the winter. So we're still harvesting rosemary year round.
Okay.
Cilantro does really well out in the garden. Obviously not when it freezes, but
Right.
you'll lose some of it. So we've got tomatoes and bee balm. Lots of tomatoes over there, garlic, chives. This is another fun one. This one's called wakate, or black mint. It's a Peruvian herb. So you don't need a whole lot of it. It's like a little half a leaf there. It's great in soups and stews. Chefs really like this one a lot.
That is.
Yeah, kind of a rich flavor.
I had no idea all these things are out here because we just don't eat those in our salads, but
Oh, yeah.
we need to start.
Get creative in the salads for sure.
Tomatoes look good over here.
Yeah, there's a bunch that just harvested a bunch of them this morning.
Oh, wow.
And then
Really good.
we also have a ridiculous amount of spicy peppers going. So if you kind of look through here,
Oh, I see.
these are scorpions. We've got
Are those, what's the hottest one?
Carolina Reaper.
That's,
Yeah.
Do you have those?
Yeah, these are Carolina Reapers over here.
nice.
Hey guys,
Those red ones
Yeah.
that is the hottest pepper out there
in the world. Yeah.
in the world. And what's the scale they measure
Let's
on?
see, that one's a banana pepper. It's the red ones behind there that are the hottest ones.
Look at how
That's on
many
a
you
Scoville
have.
scale. I can't remember exactly where they're at, but it doesn't take a whole lot. If you were to eat, the thinnest shaving possible of that, you would regret it.
And who buys those?
Chefs and restaurants for the most part.
And what do they use them for?
They're making hot sauces, and they'll pickle and ferment them, and that takes some of the heat down as well.
Okay.
But really good hot sauces. And then just a ton more peppers. All of the peppers and the hottest peppers in the world, really.
Wow. Peppers look so good too. When do they do best?
We started about 3 weeks ago for the fall season,
Oh,
but we'll
okay.
do the rest of them start in January.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in the greenhouses, obviously.
Yeah.
Jeff, how long did it take you to set up your operation and get running?
About 3 years. So it's been quite a, and I had never farmed before we bought the farm. So it took me 3 years to learn how to grow, learn how to do production scales. I became a master gardener, Collin County master gardener. I went to permaculture classes, traveled the country, going to different conventions, meeting people that do the kind of agriculture that we do. So I'd have kind of the best knowledge available. So it took 3 solid years of that. I was a stay-at-home dad, but also then building and working and building boxes and building the farm.
Very impressive. And then to build your, who fabricates your?
So the greenhouses were actually on the property when we bought it.
Oh,
This used to
nice.
be an orchid nursery, and then it got shut down for 10 years. The property was actually for sale for 10 years before we found it.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah,
Man, I never wish I'd seen it.
yeah. They had been some for sale by owner for a while, and it's kind of
Really?
a funky property. It's really long and skinny. So
Yeah, this is we're actually on Forest Grove right now. And Forest Grove is one of my favorite streets, along with Blondie June, because it's kind of a little narrow asphalt road, but got
Beautiful
trees on both
trees.
sides. It's green. It's just it's what Lucas is all about. So, and I've driven by your place 1,000 times, and all of I knew what it was, but I said one of these days I'm going to go in there and see how he does it.
Yeah,
But
everything in this greenhouse is hydroponics.
okay.
Yeah. This is, there's several different types of systems in a hydroponic system, in hydroponics. This is called NFT. So basically you've got a nutrient stream of water that's right here, that's going into these little channels, then it runs to the back and then goes down to a sump over there. So the water is constantly recirculating, and that way we're using 95% less water than traditional agriculture.
Oh.
So our total water bill for the property, including for the family and all of this hydroponics, is usually 150 to 200 bucks a month, which is less than a lot of the neighbors with lawns that they're watering and that sort of thing. So,
So they don't need soil.
There's no soil involved here at all.
Is that all plants or just these plants?
Plants, if you think about what plants actually need, they need sunlight, they need nutrients, they need water and oxygen. But soil is usually just a medium to hold them in. So we're able to do them in a hydroponic system, which is a little bit cleaner, it's more food safe, and like I said, uses a whole lot less water.
So you're constantly recirculating?
Yep.
Where's your tank that holds it?
So these ponds behind you, those big boxes with plants on them, are actually the sumps. So those are floating bodies of water. And I'll show you what that looks like over here too.
Okay.
Before we go though, you definitely need to try one of these guys. This is called oxalis. It's actual, oops, sorry. It's actually a weed that's probably growing in your yard. Try one of those guys.
That is delicious.
Yeah, it kind of hits you back here. It's like tasting a plum skin.
If that's what it is.
Yeah, so
I was trying to figure out what that tastes
we have
like.
chefs that use that in like a ceviche, or they'll use it on sorbet or ice cream. It's called oxalis, or wood sorrel would be the common name.
Immediately that brought me back to my childhood, because I love plums, but I loved it when they were green. By the time they were red, they were too sweet for me.
Yeah.
That tastes exactly like a green plum.
Here's another one to try. So this one's called papalo. It's a relative of cilantro, so it's got that same cilantro
I can taste the
flavor.
cilantro in it.
It's a little bit nuttier and kind of richer than a cilantro.
Now, all these plants you had in here, obviously they're all surviving in the same environment.
Yeah.
Is there anything here that's you've got to watch, especially because it can't take the heat or too much sun? Or
Yeah, so like oxalis in particular, this will start getting burned when it gets a little bit hotter, so we'll actually put a separate piece of shade cloth to block you a little bit even more of the sun here pretty soon.
did you have to lose some crops before you figured that out, or did you already know?
We lost lots and lots of crops. Like I said, for 3 years we were just experimenting. So we'd get seeds and we'd try them in this type of system and that system in the soil, just to really figure out which plant did the best in which location at what season. So we took notes and just kind of for 3 years, figuring everything out. Yeah, we've tested 900 varieties or so. So quite a few different things. Currently we grow 150 different varieties.
Okay. Now you also, I don't see any flowers. You don't do any flowers. Is that correct?
So we do edible flowers.
Edible flowers. Okay, good. I can't wait
I'll show you
to see
some of those too. Yeah, we'll walk over here.
That was what you used to do exclusively, right?
Well,
edible flowers?
We've always grown pretty much this mix of stuff.
Okay.
The edible flowers, we saw lots of restaurants and chefs for cocktail garnishes and making plates look pretty and that sort of thing. So I'll let you try a couple over here real quick. These are Genovese basil. You should definitely smell some of that.
What is this, Jeff?
Genovese basil.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. And it's so picture perfect.
Yeah. So this is a nasturtium. Just pop the whole flower in. One of my favorite flowers.
That's
that one,
delicious.
it starts off a little bit sweet, but then it's got a little bit of like wasabi or a mustardy.
Yeah, it
at the end.
Yes,
It really
does.
kicks in at the end. You can.
Yep.
It's got a little kick
A
to
little
it.
bite to it, yeah. And then we grow, those are dianthus and stock, calendula, some basil we're growing for the flowers over there.
Do you do special order grows for people?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it all special order?
Before COVID, we were 100% sold out to restaurants. And so we were growing exactly what they wanted, what they'd agreed to purchase.
Right.
And now we're growing a lot more things on speculation, just kind of figuring out like what's going to go to what
people want.
market. Yeah.
Hey guys, people watching this, I would really recommend you come by and take a tour. How much are your tours?
So it depends on the groups, and if it's a homeschool or just people wanting to come by. But generally, we do an hour to an hour and a half tour for $150 for up to 6 people.
Okay.
And that'll include tasting and getting to try things, as well as ask us anything.
Just to
like that.
try these things are so. I had no idea that you had all these different flavors.
And for tours, real quick, definitely need to book those in advance. So we
Okay.
don't. It's no walk-ins. So
Right.
you got to book it. We'll schedule a time and go from there.
Okay. And this will be, are you going to have all of these things at your meal this Friday night, this Friday evening?
No, we'll bring a few different things out. We're going to highlight some of the herbs and some of the things that we have, and then some from other farmers, ranchers, and producers as well.
Okay. Well, if you will remember, bring the one that tastes like a green plum.
Okay.
Because that was my childhood.
Okay, cool.
I was always raiding the trees in the neighborhood before everybody got mad at me. Let them go, but it tastes exactly like a green plum.
That's fun. Yeah, I like when food evokes memories.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you have where was the water tank? Is it over here? I want to get a shot of those.
This is the tank.
Oh
my gosh.
So these are a romaine lettuce, and you can see that the roots are just hanging right down into the water.
Wow.
So this one's a 9,000 gallon tank of water, and basically we're just running air stones in there, and the plants just float right on top of the water. Their roots are always getting exactly what they need. And
because you're what keeps the water from getting algae, or what keeps it?
So algae is formed when water hit or when sun hits water. So what we've done is just covered the whole pond. So we will get a little bit of algae. You can see some of the rafts have algae, but it's not actually a bad thing. It is robbing a little bit of the nutrients from the water, a little bit of oxygen, but we're pumping so much extra in there that it makes up for it.
Okay.
So, and then you can see we've got several different varieties of lettuce going over here, over there. And then mustard greens do really well. Any of the herbs are going to do well in these type of systems.
So are you on a schedule, or do you actually know? Say, okay, it's time to plug this, or you work off a schedule? Like
it's on a schedule. On Monday mornings they do all the seeding for the week, and then on Wednesdays the seeding gets taken out of the germination chamber, put underneath lights inside the barn over there. After 3 days under lights, then they get moved out here, transplanted into the system when they're about a week old. There's a good, so you can kind of see if you look over here, you've got, this is 5-week-old mustard greens, that's 4-week-old mustard greens, and then down at the end is 3. So these work as a big conveyor belt.
Okay. And so you can look at every one and see how long it's been there.
Yeah.
And is it computerized? You have all your stuff computerized, or is it up there in your head?
Well, it's all written down. It's pretty manual, though.
Yeah.
The team gets a list of each day what they're doing, but pretty much, seed to harvest for most of the things we're growing right now is 5 weeks.
Okay. And you have 14 people working for you?
Yeah.
And they all do the same thing, basically, a little bit of the same thing?
I know it's quite a bit different things. So we have a farm manager, we have 3 full-time farm employees and a few part-times, and then we also have a lot of interns that we'll cycle through. That's on the farm side, and then on the distribution side, we've got a couple people, and then we've got an admin person, a business development person, a sales person. So some of them work from home, some of them come work from either the kitchen space or over here.
Right. So how many do you have on site at one time, would you say?
There's almost always going to be 5 people a day.
Okay,
here.
about 5.
Yeah.
All right.
So, this is all basil. It just got harvested, so they went through and topped off all those. It kind of doesn't look good right now, but in 3 or 4 days it'll fill back in. And then you can see down over here some seed starts. So you see those trays?
Yes.
That's after they've come out from being planted inside. We'll bring them out here. They'll harden off on those trays for a couple of days, and then we'll move them into the farm so they get transferred. So those are all edible marigolds. So all marigolds are edible. And they make really nice garnish, and they look great in salads and stuff like that. So
how do they taste?
They're kind of bland. They're floral.
Okay.
They're floral. They don't add a lot of flavor like some of the other ones we've tried.
Right.
And then we had one of our systems shut off, so there's some dead towers in there because we lost water yesterday. But the vertical towers just have water flowing through them all the time, and then you've got plants growing up in front of them, which is pretty cool.
You can lose it in a day?
Yeah, so
because
it's the way it's hanging vertical, it's not sitting in the water, and so the pump got clogged and shut off, and I was out of town over the weekend.
Oh, no.
So one day we lost about 1/3 of the system, unfortunately.
Can't you put an alarm on it to let you know when the flow stops?
Yes, and there's the backup failed for it as well.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was perfect storm. So we lost a few plants. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
And then these are also basils that we're letting go for edible flowers. So we'll sell these flowers for guys making cocktails, bars, and that sort of thing. I got one more fun one for you to try over here too. So this one's lemon basil. There you go. It's my favorite basil that we grow.
It does taste like lemon.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Also great at cocktails. So everything's done on our website. It's profoundfoods.com. And basically, once you've got a profile created, each week you can go on and order your groceries like an Amazon-like experience. So you can say, I want a gallon of milk, a loaf of bread, I want some of Jeff's greens, and I want to get some heirloom tomatoes from a different farm. So it highlights and tells the story of each one of the farmers, why they farm, how they farm, their practices, and then you can put in your cart each week, and it changes each week due to what availability is.
Oh, okay.
And you guys deliver them, is that
And then
right?
we do free home delivery. So it's a minimum of a $35 order, and then it's free home delivery. And basically you'll just set your cooler on your porch, and then we'll come deliver your groceries right to your cooler.
Okay.
You get a text message when we're on the way, you get another text message after we deliver.
Great.
Do people do subscriptions, or is it weekly? Because
It's weekly, yeah.
Because it varies a lot.
Yeah, things change a lot. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So.
And there's Carrie. Carrie, thank you for being behind the camera. We appreciate it.
We also did we do some farm to table dinners from on occasion. And so we'll actually, where these tables are, we'll put a nice tabletop on them, and then we'll have over a dinner party of 30 or 40 people. And
in here?
Inside the greenhouse.
Wow.
And so chef will be out cooking, bring in the things, they'll run around and actually harvest herbs and things to put on the plate right there. It's a pretty fun experience.
Do you
But
sell?
obviously not in the summertime because it's pretty warm in here.
Yeah,
So in
yeah.
spring and fall.
Do you sell to Rick Wells?
Yeah, Rick's actually one of our best customers. He was
Okay.
here yesterday coming around doing a tour. So we sell the Harvest Seasonal Kitchen.
Right.
And then also in McKinney, patina green, rye, local yokels are good customers. So
Yeah.
quite a few in
All
McKinney
excellent
area.
restaurants.
Yeah, absolutely. Over this other greenhouse.
You were talking about this, someone had sponsored this greenhouse.
Yeah.
That was nice of them to do.
Yeah,
But
for
just
sure.
promoting local business and
Yeah, so our friends at Devil's River Whiskey decided that they would help us out building this greenhouse a year and a half ago. So they bought the naming rights. So this is called the Devil's River Whiskey Greenhouse.
okay, yeah.
And
cool.
they use a lot of the cocktail herbs that we grow in here in their cocktails, and so it's a neat way for them to be able to help, sponsor the farmer
Yeah.
in addition to. So
That's nice.
yeah,
All right, this is the third. This is the last one that has produce in it. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. And what are the differences between this one, what you're growing, and the others? Is it basically, can you take a plant from here, move it into that one, and it's the exact same thing? Are they all interchangeable?
so
or do they have special needs?
For the most part, it's interchangeable. We're using the same nutrient mix across the board in all of our
Okay.
systems. This one in particular, we have a little bit thicker shade cloth on,
Okay.
so it's a 70% shade in
Yeah, I
here.
thought
you notice
so.
it's
This
a
is
little bit,
cooler.
It's a little bit cooler in here than it was in the other greenhouse.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're growing more cool season vegetables like the collards, the chard, the kale, and they like a little bit cooler weather. So with this new greenhouse, we were able to get more airflow and
Right.
keep it a little cooler. My 11 and 13-year-old daughters work for us. My 13-year-old's doing 40 hours a week right now, saving up to buy a car. So it's fun. We get to work with family. My dad works for us.
Yeah.
My brother will help out time to time. So it's
Yeah.
where we want to be in Lucas. It's close to everything.
Right.
And
This is a great
it's the only one
location.
to do. Yeah.
For so many, it takes no time to get on 75 from here or 121. You feel like you're country out here, but you're really not. Sorry, I would start. I'm passionate. I live in Lucas, so I'm passionate about this area, and just such a great location right here. So you could see yourself doubling, tripling. What do you think? How big can you get before you start losing efficiency?
We like to get to what I would think is kind of a sustainable size, where it's big enough for our farm to be able to grow everything we want to grow, but also to be able to do the kind of events and really engaging
Right.
the community with food.
Yeah.
And so I think that's, for us, it'll be about 10 acres total.
Okay. Now, when you said you have events where you have a cook, what do they cook?
All kinds of stuff. So it depends on if it's a private event, then whoever's booking the party will get to do that.
Okay.
But we have some of the best chefs in the state really working for us. So
Really?
Joel Orsini, who's actually our farm manager, he's worked as a chef for 25 years in kitchens all over the United States. We found him at one of the best restaurants in Dallas and kind of pulled him into the farm side of things. But he cooks for us, and then we also have Nick Walker, who's was the executive chef of Virgin Hotel and the Jewel property downtown for a long time, so he does some cooking with us.
And again, I'm going to remind you, come out on Friday. What's that? July
23rd.
July 23rd. It's at Fairview Town Center, right across from Gloria's. And you've got that space leased now, right?
Yeah, we've been there for about 9 months or so now. And it's 13,000 square feet, so we've got a demonstration kitchen where we hold classes and events and educational seminars, and then we've also got, seating for fine dining, or, we've done pop-ups where we've had chefs come in and then take over the kitchen for a day and come out and get tacos for, whatever, and a lot of fun different events. 2 weddings hosted there now.
Yeah, well, it's a natural, in my opinion. When Paula Dean's went in there, that really didn't fit the Fairview lifestyle culture. It's mainly comfort food, but this is healthy, good, clean food. So that's a perfect fit.
Yeah, so this is where we start all the seeds. So the pink lights are in here because plants only really need to get the red and blue spectrum. They don't need the white spectrum. So they're super efficient LEDs. And these are some microgreens. So these are 7 days old. We'll actually harvest them at this size and trim them off and sell these to restaurants and retail and that sort of thing. But they're grown right in these little trays here that we can move around pretty quickly. And
so does everything start here?
Just about all of the
just
seeds
about
start
everything
in
in that greenhouse we saw starts here.
Yep. So we'll run them through the racks for 3 or 4 days. After they get kind of solid and growing, then we'll move them out to the greenhouses. When you give plants that little jump start when they're babies, they'll keep on growing at that same speed.
I'm sorry. How long do you keep them in here before you move them out?
Usually just 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
So some of these are going to be grown to maturity. So this one's been in here for 7 days and it's ready to be harvested. And then there's other ones that we'll transplant outside.
Yeah. Same thing. I'm going to record over there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, this is air conditioned space that we're standing in here too. So
air conditioning helps out.
Is that right?
And these trays here are all the seed starts. So everything here got seeded today. So they'll let it sit and germinate in the dark for 2 or 3 days, and then it gets transplanted into lights.
Oh, so 2 or 3 days here, 3 or 4 days there.
Let's see. This one here, they just now started to germinate, and when they start popping like that, then they'll go underneath the lights. But plants usually need to germinate in the dark. So that's why they're all stacked here. All of these trays are going to be transplanted in the system.
If I took them from babies, I don't know if I'd be able to sell them. Like I just let them grow forever.
Let them grow for fun. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I know. It's like all your babies.
And all of this you learned from YouTube, going to lectures.
YouTube, traveling, like I said, travel around the country, visiting other farms to see what best practices were, and
Were other farmers good about sharing information with you?
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah. Some of the really, really big farms don't share any of their information because it's proprietary to pay back the investors who put $600 million into building the greenhouse. But we don't have any investors, so we can tell everybody everything.
You've got a great deal going here, and I know the Fairview people talk about it, and the longer you're here, the more people know about it. So we're going to do our best to get the word out about you, and maybe we won't be able to help boost sales in other areas, but in Fairview and Lucas, hopefully we can help you, grow your business here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Our big thing is just really connecting people with food and getting them to start asking the question of where does your food come from?
Right.
Because it matters where you spend your money, and makes a difference for the community and your health.
Yeah, I'm all about supporting local businesses, so I'm just thrilled to see you guys doing so well.
Yeah, and thank you again for sponsoring our event.